Hello. I've never done a live stream like this before, and I've never really done a video like this before, but I have a big stack here of library books that I am planning on reading like over the next week or so. That's not true. I'm planning on reading them over the next however long it takes me to read 10 books, but I thought I would just pop on, try a chapter of each one, and judge them as I go. So, like I say, I've never done live before. I don't know if anybody will even watch this, but if you are here, oh, hello. No, they've gone. Okay. Well, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with The Inmate by Sebastian Fitzek, I think. And I'm going to read a chapter of this and then see what I think to it. So I'm just going to put some like mood music on the PlayStation. And oops, let me get my YouTube up. And then we've got some nice background music for while I'm reading. And we can just have a chill. This is just wine. I hope you can't see too much of the messy behind me. It's not too bad. Memphis might come and sit here in a minute. She sometimes does. Oops. Yep, that's fine. Should have set this up before I started, really, but I didn't. So here we are. We'll go for a fireplace. No, I want like a rainy cafe. Sunlight spring lo-fi. Morning. That could work. Let's have that. But let's do it.
With Get Your Guide,
That
choose from
adds
over 100,000
the
things
worst.
to do in one app. Follow expert tour guides all over the world.
All right. So I did a video a couple of days ago of all the library books that I've got, like a library haul. And I'm really surprised how many people have watched that and subscribed off the back of that. So if you're one of my new subscribers, thank you so much. And thank you for watching that video if you did. But you will know all of these books already. But if you don't, I'll kind of do a quick intro of them before I read the chapter. So this one was starting with The Inmate. This one I only literally picked up because it was recommended by Chris Carter, who's one of my favourite authors. And he writes absolutely unhinged crime, like really, really good crime, really grisly murders, really well plotted novels. Oops, sorry. And they are just great. So I'm going to read the first chapter of this and let you know what I think. Off we go. Wow, okay. So obviously that was quite a short first chapter. It's only 6 pages long. This book is about a child killer who, I think the blurb on the back says basically that he gets caught, he admits to 2 murders, but he won't admit to the 3rd one. There's a missing child and he won't admit to that. So the father of that child gets to basically go and see him in prison, like gets to go into prison to be in prison with him and kind of confront him. So that was a really interesting first chapter. We found the mother of one of the children that had been killed has gone down to this cellar with someone who she thinks is a policeman to look for her daughter. But when she gets down there and finds the body of the daughter, it's not the policeman, it's a murderer, and he kills her too. So it was quite graphic, but that, you know, I quite like that in a book. I don't mind a graphic, not so much children usually, but I don't mind a graphic opener. Very gripping, has definitely got me wanting to read more of that. So that's probably fairly high up on my list, I would say. But we'll see what else we get because I've got all the rest of them. So the next book that I'm going to try the first chapter of is Children of Time by Adrian Tchaikovsky. This is the sequel to the first book called Children of Time, which I really enjoyed. I'm a bit worried. I feel like this one's got quite long chapters, so I might be, 10 pages. So I should be able to get through this quite quickly. Let me just see because is there a way I can, what does that mean? I don't know what that does. Sorry, this is boring to watch. I don't know if I can see if... Oh, here's the chat. Okay, not anything. Good. Well, not good, obviously. If you let me know what you're reading. If you don't know what reading sprints are, basically it's where you read along with somebody. It's kind of like body doubling, I guess. But this is just a little chill stream. Start this one. It was honestly so long ago that I read Children of Time. I honestly can't remember. Well, I can remember the end because it had a really good twisty ending, but I don't remember a huge amount about it. So I'm going to read the first 10 pages of this and see where it sits on my stack. Obviously at the moment there's only this, so it's at the top of the pile. I don't really have another place to put a pile that's in sight apart from here where I'm going to lean. So I'll just pop it down there for the moment. Out of sight, out of mind. Right then, so Children of Ruin, let's do the first chapter of this one. Here comes Pokey to distract me. Right, come here then. She wants me. Pokey's default position is on my knee under this yellow blanket, specifically this yellow blanket. She gets very grumpy if I don't put it on immediately for her. So she's going to do that. Bloody ad.
With money is instantly paying friends back with gifts.
Hang on, Pyro, I just need to skip. Bloody thing. Where was I? Ooh, okay. I'm looking for my bookmark. I don't need one. Hang on. Let me just make this be quiet because I'm a bit further away and I can't sit up now because I've got a cat on me. So, Children of Ruin. Children of Ruin. This is a sci-fi novel about, like I say, it follows on from the first one. And the first one is basically Earth is doomed, life on Earth is doomed. And so they find habitable planets further afield and they send teams out to these planets with like terraforming kits, which basically make the world habitable for humans in a very quick space of time. So the first one, they sent off all this stuff. She doesn't like me talking. The first one, they sent off this like probe onto the planet to make that planet habitable. But when it landed, instead of the monkeys that were supposed to go down to the planet and evolve as humans did, the probe with the monkeys on died, and instead they ended up with sentient spiders. Spiders evolved in the same way that humans have from monkeys, and etc., etc. And that was like the premise of that book. This one seems to be following Pokey. Do you mind? This one, it seems to be following a different ship on a different mission, going to a different area of space, but with the same intention of making a planet habitable for humans. And the planet that they've just got to within this first chapter is already occupied. There's already life on the planet. So that is this one. It was a very good opener. I have also got this book on audiobook. I've got the audiobook for it from Audible. I used one of my credits because it's a big boy. So I don't know if I'll pick this to continue for this weekend, but it's definitely piqued my interest in that. I'm sorry, am I not paying any attention to you? You're telling me off. The next book that I have to try the first chapter of is Salt Lick by Lulu Allison. This one, oh, Pokey likes this one. Poe. You're such a sweet baby. I might actually put the lights on while I've got a second as well. The first chapter of this book, okay, so there's an intro, which I'll not include, depends how long the first chapter is. We are looking at 10 pages again, very popular length for a first chapter. So I've got 10 pages and this little 3-page, no, is that included in the page count? Yes, 3 pages and then a big old gap. And then let me just put some lights on because it's getting really dark in here. Bear with me 1 second. Excuse me for a mo. Oh. Is that better? Oh, that's a bit better, isn't it? Right. I've also got my friend texting me because we are watching the new series of The Circle, and she is talking about that. So we've just finished episode 7 and she has just started episode 7. There's only one more episode that's been released at the moment. I can't believe there's only been one blocking so far. Yeah, I'm watching The Circle. I really like The Circle. I'm not too sure about this new series. It's very different. There's hardly been any blockings or anything like that. But I'm not here to talk about Circle. I'm here to read the first chapter of multiple books. So this is my next one. Salt Lick. I'm going to sit and read the first chapter of this. I'm going to put my music back on. As I say, I've got 10 pages to get through. Honestly, this one I'm not too sure about. I don't really know if this one is going to be for me. I picked it up because it was on the Women's Prize long list. I don't think it made the short list a couple of years ago, and I was kind of interested in reading it at that point, but it never was kind of enough to push me to go ahead and pick it up or get it in any meaningful way. Oh, I've got the TV remote now. Oh, here. Let's get some sound back on and do another chapter. Hang on. Are you going to come sit back on me again? You forgive me? Come on then. It's probably only going to be another 10 minutes. I've only done 2. I've been at this half an hour. All right, come on then. So, let me turn this music off again for a sec. Not too sure about this one. I don't think it's badly written or anything like that. I think it's very well written. It kind of is a little bit dystopian. Sounds like the water's coming into the UK, and there's been a lot of illness, pandemics, that kind of thing. But I'm not too sure if this is really my kind of thing. I'm glad I didn't buy it. I'm glad I just borrowed it from the library. I think it's kind of going to go to the bottom of my list, but that's not to say that I won't necessarily read it at some point, but I just don't think I'm probably going to read it next, this weekend. We'll see. We'll see. That's kind of, like I say, bottom of my pile at the minute. I know, I'm sorry, I won't shut up, but she hates me talking. Okay, so the next one on the pile is Fairy Tale by Stephen King. I have already read the first page of this. It's a bit of an odd one, the way that it's set up, because it seems like there's chapter 1, but then there's like 1, 2, 3, 4, there's like different parts of it. And the first chapter is 20 pages, which is quite a lot. I'm going to leave this till last, I think, and just kind of read, maybe I'll just read 10 pages of it, and that will take me up to part 7 of chapter 1. But you know what Stephen King's like, he just bloody goes on forever. So I'm going to hop over that. Sorry, dear. And I'm going to go for Stitched Up next by Shahed Yousaf. Let's have a look how long this first chapter is. I think I'm probably going to say if the chapter's around 10 pages. Okay, there's a 13-page introduction. And then the first chapter, woof, page 38. So the first chapter is from page 15 to 38. So what's that, 23? So I'm probably just going to read the introduction and call that chapter 1 for this one. Off we go. I need to do a bit more with the light. I need to put this lamp on behind me, I think. Good timing. Okay, so that was the introduction to Stitched Up that I've just read by Dr. Shahed Youssef. This was really interesting. He talks a lot about, in the introduction, about prisons in general, his own training when he was becoming a doctor. My friend just gone mad. His own training when he was becoming a doctor, the work that he did with the homeless to begin with, and then he kind of moves on to him working in prisons. Talks a lot about the prison system as a whole and how that isn't really working in this country, which I think is quite interesting. See here, which I think is quite interesting. I said in my haul of this video, I do like little slice of life non-fiction like this, where it's just about a person doing a job and their life and the job that they do and the kind of interesting parts of that. So this is probably fairly high up my pile. So I think probably at the moment, I've still got possibly five more books to read the first chapter of. Salt Lick's kind of probably at the bottom. Children of Ruin, I don't know if that's quite big. I don't know if I'm quite in the mood for that. And then maybe this, and then this is probably the current situation. But next up is Bookshops and Bone Dust. Now, this is actually the second book, but it's a prequel to Legends and Lattes, which I called Lattes and Legends for some reason in the video. So I'm not really sure if I can read this before reading the first book. Look at this drawing in here. It's beautiful. And on the inside page as well. Gorgeous. But yeah, I don't, this is, because it's the second book that's out, I don't really know if I can read it before, but I'm just going to read the prologue. That can't do any harm, can it? Oh no, hang on. How long's the first chapter of this? Oh, okay. The prologue is 5 pages. The first chapter, takes us up to 12 pages. So I'm going to read the prologue and the first chapter of Bookshops and Bone Dust. This is not normally the kind of thing I would read. Normally, if I read fantasy, it is in my ears through an audiobook. Don't generally read fantasy in a physical book I can hold in my hands. Occasionally on my Kindle, which is obviously right here. Occasionally on my Kindle, but much more so as an audiobook. So I'm just going to have a quick, how many have I done? 4, and I've got 4 left to go. I think I'm going to skip Fairy Tale, a bit controversial one, but I'm going to skip this for now because I think it's just too much. It's too big. The chapters are too long. Stephen King, he's going to write a story and it's going to be too long. Okay, so I'm going to, should I do this and then have a break? I'm not also, although I've got pathogenesis or pathogenesis here as well, I'm not going to read the first chapter of this because I'm already on page 60, 75, and I'm just kind of chipping away at this in between things. It's not the kind of book I'm going to sit down and read all in one sitting in one go. It's something that I'm going to read chapter here, chapter there over the next month or so. So skipping that one. So I'm halfway through. I'm going to just have a quick rearrange in this room, fill up my wine because that's getting low. And these are just reusable ice cubes because my wine is warm. So I'm just going to do that really quickly. I'll be 5 minutes I wish I could have something on the screen to say what I'm actually doing, because if people have kind of come in here and left, and I don't know if they know what I'm doing. So let me just put a little message here. Please ignore me for a second. It's a little reading sprint session. I will be reading the first chapter of all of my library books. Chill with me, because obviously I'm just chilling. Excellent. Right. Wine, lighting, and then I'll be back. 5 minutes, I promise. Can I pause this? Can I like pause the stream? I don't think so. I'll be back. I'll leave the chill music going around. Okay, sorry about that. Oh. Oh, bloody thing. Right. Sorry about that. Okay, so yeah, good. Still going. So here we go then with bookshops and bone dust. Off we go. Oops, sorry, I kicked my cat. Oh, bad cat mom. Wasn't hard. She's a tough cookie. She'll be all right. Okay. Adverts. Just turn the sound off. I'm enjoying this. Still got like a page and a half to go, but the advert is ruining the vibes. So let me just get this advert finished, and then I'll finish my page and a half, and then I'll tell you what I think. Thank you. Okay. So this one, I kind of am familiar, sort of, with the storyline for Legends and Lattes. It's about a tavern in a small town and some mythical creatures. Hello. Some mythical creatures that live there, and it's just them living their sort of everyday lives. It's a cozy fantasy. And this apparently is Viv's story. Viv, I think, is one of the main characters in Legends and Lattes. Obviously, I've not read that, like I say, but yeah, it seems pretty good. It feels like the kind of fantasy that I could read with my eyes rather than by audio. So, yeah, this is on my list. I'm going to put it on the top. You can't even see this pile anyway. I'm going to put it on the top, but it's not necessarily on the top. I'll rejig that pile again in a minute. So what we have left is 3 thrillers, which is much more my usual cup of tea. I probably should have mixed these up a bit so that it was kind of rearranged, so I'll be reading different things, but in a different order. Every time I stop and talk, she's so bad. Okay, so but the next book I'm going to read the first chapter of is Daisy Darker. This is one that I actually have on my Kindle, but I've never read it on my Kindle, and I thought perhaps getting the physical book would encourage me to read it more. So this is another one that I could probably... Oh, it's got a map. It's got a floor plan. I love that. I do feel like when I'm able to double team something with an audiobook in the way of Children of Ruin, or with my Kindle with this, it makes it obviously a lot quicker for me to read through it. Wow, the first chapter is 6 pages long. How long is chapter 2? 14 pages. Okay, well, it's called the Try Chapter Challenge, not read 10 pages of a book. So I will read 6 pages of this book. At least this will help to bring the time down, because this video is taking a lot longer than I thought it would. Okay, so more wine, more books. This is so much fun. I love starting new books. One of my favourite things is starting new books. So to start 8 new books in one night is like heaven. Okay, back to the music and on with the next book. Where's my mute? Intriguing. The last words of that were, I do have a secret and I think it's about time I shared it. So very intriguing. I have read a few Alice Feeney books before. This is about a girl, Daisy Darker, who we learn in this first chapter that she has a heart defect. She's died multiple times when she was a child, but now she's 20 something, 29, something like that. And it's her grandmother's 80th birthday, and a palm reader told her grandmother that she wouldn't live past 80. So they think it's her last birthday. The grandma wrote a children's book that made lots of money, but she doesn't share it much with her family. So her and her two older sisters, Rose and Lily, and the mother, I think it's the mother's mother is the grandma, all going to a party for grandma's 80th birthday. So that's kind of the opening. Seems very interesting. It's Halloween as well, so we'll see. This is pretty high up my pile, and let's have a little rearrange. I've got 2 books left to go, so I'm going to put those over here, and I'm going to start putting these here in the order in which I would potentially read them. Let's get that in shot. Sorry, don't mind. This is this is a little cat house that Memphis likes, and this is Pokey's bed next to the radiator because she likes to be hot all the time. So this is the current order. Oh yeah, put Bookshops and Bone Dust there. You know what? That's quite high for me. I think I'll put that probably here. I might move this around again at the end. I'm going to put that there. We can see the current rankings. And on this pile, Daisy Darker is probably, I'm still, to be honest, that inmate is the most interesting to me at the moment because it opened with a really good murder and Chris recommended it. I know I said that at the start, but Chris Carter has a lot of sway with me. He is a very talented man. So I think this is going to go here for now. I'm going to keep The Inmate at the top. So the next book that I'm going to read is Cold Blooded Liar by Karen Rose. Again, if you watched my library haul, you will know my feelings about these books. I think they are slightly ridiculous, very over the top, spicy scenes. But as thrillers and as crime novels, they are very well paced, very intricate, and very, very readable. So let's have the first chapter of this one and see how we get on with it. I also am very happy that at least twice I've finished the chapter at the exact moment that the song finishes on my little chill playlist thing that I've got going on in the background. So perfect. Okay, so off we go. I didn't see how long this one was actually. These are generally pretty short chapters though, as I recall. Okay, the intro is 8 pages. The first chapter, 26. So I'm just going to read the introduction, or the prologue, if you will. Oh, it's set in Carmel Valley, California. I've been there. A good sign. Okay, so this one, the opening is another dead child, so a bit of a theme from the first one and the penultimate one. But we have two children in the foster care system, one of which has been murdered. The other one is her sister, but not by blood. So they've obviously been in the foster care system together. And this was set 15 years ago. And we are following her speaking to her foster father, who she's got not a difficult relationship with, but she's quite self-contained, and she's not really trying to connect with foster parents, so they have a strained relationship from that side of things. And she's saying that she is going to find the killer of Ren, the little girl who's the one that died. And then obviously we jump forward to 16 years later, 15 years later, something like that. And now it seems like she's a cop, and I'm guessing that we're going to pick up this case and follow it along. the part that I read was just like a flashback, so there was no love interest at that point, but I'm certain there's going to be one because that is what these books generally are. I've read 3 or 4 of Karen Rose's books now, and they've all been very much romance thrillers. So yes, I will be very interested to read the rest of this. Where is it on my stack? Probably, I feel like this is the kind of book that I'll not read immediately, but I'll kind of probably read it in one sitting. These tend to be quite long books. This is quite short for a Karen Rose book. They're normally kind of like 500 plus pages. And this one's 392, so just under 400. I think I'm going to pop this. I don't know. I honestly don't know. I'm tempted to say under Stitched Up, under the Prison Doctor book. But equally, I feel like when I've got a day off, I might just randomly pick that up and absolutely smash it out in a day. So who knows? So then we come to the last book that I'm going to read tonight for this tri-chapter video, which is End of Story by AJ Finn. I don't really know anything about this one, apart from it's from the same author that wrote The Woman in the Window, which is a difficult one because I really enjoyed that book. And was there a film? I can't remember if there was a film, but I did really, really enjoy the book when I read it. It was just a very compulsive thriller to read at the time. There was a lot of bad press about that author, which I'm fully like not backing the author at all in any way, because I think he like lied about having cancer, or I don't know. I just very briefly Googled it after I posted my library haul, but I've already got it now, and to be honest, I do really want to read this. I hate myself for it, but I do really want to read it. So I'm probably going to read the first chapter because that's the point of this whole video, of this whole live. And these are short chapters. Okay, so there's a page and then a 10-page chapter, but there's like 2 blank pages in between. So this is going to be my last one, I believe, and then I will be done. Sorry, it's very distracting to have right. Sorry. Okay. Okay. Let's see where we are. Where are we? Let's go for it. Oh, music back on. Quick swig of wine. Sorry, my phone is my worst nightmare. It distracts me all the time from everything. Running low on the old vino again. Right. Chapter. Oh my god, this font is tiny. It's tiny. I don't think you'll see that. It's so small. Oh my god. Okay. How long is this book? Nearly 400 pages of a font this size. You're kidding me. Okay, fine. Oh, you know what? Straight away they've mentioned Agatha Christie murder in oh my god, I can't say it. Mesopotamia. And whenever a book's whenever a book's mentioned in a book, it always just makes me want to read that book before I carry on, in case it's like a rewrite. What do they call that? Oh, the word has escaped me. Like a reimagining of it. Do you know what I mean? Anyway, it's fun. Mesopotamia. Stop it. Oh, okay. This does seem quite good. It's set in San Francisco, which is a... Hang on. This does seem quite good. It's set in San Francisco, which is a place where I've been quite a few times. My sister-in-law lives there, so we do go and visit. I don't know, I feel a bit conflicted about this because obviously the author's a terrible person, but I've already got it and I do really want to read it. Maybe if I just read it like really quickly, it'll be like it never happened. And if it's terrible, I can come on and say it's terrible. And if it's good, I'll just never mention it. And then you'll never have to know if it's good or not. And you can just pretend it never happened too. Sound fair? Don't know. Okay, so I've read everything. I'm not putting that on the top necessarily. I'm just putting it on the top for now. I'm going to have a think about which one was my favourite. But definitely really good. I've really enjoyed this. Obviously, nobody really dropped in and watched or anything, but I'm going to leave it on the channel. So if anybody wants like a 1 hour and 50-minute chill with me, then here it is. And we sat and read some books together. Like I say, I have still got the Stephen King, but I'm just going to like not read that for now. This is another one. I don't know. This is it's entirely its own thing. We're going to put that there. And then everything else from the library. This is the 8 books that I are like contenders for my next read. Pathogenesis, I will just read at some point. Endgame, I already finished, and Stephen King is Stephen King. So that makes the 11. So I'm going to digest this a little bit. I will probably put a video up hopefully tomorrow, like a Friday reads of what I'm reading at the moment. And I'll just go through my audiobook, my ebooks that I'm reading at the minute and kind of bring up to speed on that. Like I say, this has been really, really fun, but I can appreciate it's not the kind of thing for everybody, a reading sprint like this. But like I say, I will leave it here on the channel. And if you get all the way to the end, then thank you for watching. I really appreciate it. As I say, I posted a video a couple of days ago that has had really, I can't believe how many people have watched it. I mean, it's like 60. So that's a lot for a channel with only 50 subscribers. So that's fantastic. Anyway, I am starting to ramble now, probably too much wine. So I'm going to leave this here. I'm going to make a little thumbnail for this stream and I will probably be back again next week, to be honest. I always have Thursday evenings to myself. My husband goes out with his friends on a Thursday night every week. So I'm always just sitting here on my own on a Thursday. So if you enjoyed this, like if you watch this after the fact, you enjoyed it and you'd like me to do another one next Thursday, I'd be more than happy to do that. And I will see you again in another video soon. Shh, Memphis is asleep over here on this chair and I'm really tempted to just take the camera over to her for the end of the street, but I won't because it will disturb her. She won't like it. Right, so this is the pile. This is the wine. And we're going to have a little digest for the rest of the evening. And I'm just going to watch some Bones for the rest of the night, I think, because that's like my usual Thursday night thing. But thank you for watching, as I say, and I will catch you in another video or stream or something soon. Oh, and